Okay, so here what we have is a special widget that I usually use at the root of the UI, which means that if you want to override your back button, okay, so this will pop scope class is very useful since it basically override this button down here, the back button here. So in this application, we understand that there are three what we call as a root layout. Okay, the three root layout. So you have buyer, seller, and profile. So we might have later on more root layout, but this is the home page menu. So whenever user log in or access the application, they will always go here. Okay, they will always go here, and they will have this as their main menu, and they can just go anywhere from this menu. Okay, so if they want to go to seller, they can go to seller. If they want to go to profile, they can go to profile. They want to go back to buyer, so they can go back to buyer. So this is, I can say that this is a root layout. If we put it into as a tree, something like this. Let me just do some modification here. So if you have your splash screen here, and then your three menu, your buyer, your seller, and also your profile menu or screen. So when user log in, you go to the seller, to the buyer page. And then from buyer page, this is your main page. It goes to you can select either you want to go to the buyer, or to the seller, and also to the profile menu. Okay, depend on your account information, either you log in or not. So this is within the same level, the same menu hierarchy. So I call it as a root menu, but you don't want for the root menu to go back to each other. So if you didn't use wheel pop scope, you can always press this button. If you move around profile, you move around buyer. So if you press the back button, it will traverse back. It will always go back to the previous stack. Okay, your application will always go back to the previous stack because of the application stack. Whenever we navigate to that class, the previous stack is still there if you didn't dispose that class. So if you want to avoid that from happening, and usually this is only for the root level menu. So anything in the home page, I don't allow them to move around between one and another, so that I remove or I disable this back button to avoid that. So the wheel pop scope allow you to override the back button. Okay, you can see from my main screen, this is a buyer screen, profile screen, this is for the profile. You can see that I written wheel pop scope, not the usual scaffold. Okay, so the same with a seller screen. You can see here the wheel pop scope, override, and then return scaffold. Okay, so that just to avoid this back button. However, if you have like after, like for example, after this, your buyer screen will contain more screen. After this, let's say more screen details. If you want to go for payment, so you can have payment down here. For this column menu here, so you can always go back. Okay, you can go back, but usually I don't allow for the menu to go back if we are in the root menu. Okay, we don't allow this to happen. I don't usually do that. should you do it? But that's up to you. Okay, if you want to allow for the backtrace or you allow for the page to go back, that is up to you if you wanted to. But usually I don't do that. That is basically I'll try to maintain the what we call the navigation awareness. Okay, user navigation awareness. So they know that this is the home, this is the route, so they cannot go back between each other. Okay, so this is the route they can go to profile, but they can go back because if you think about it, if you click on multiple time, and if you didn't properly handle your class, if you didn't destroy the class, so you try to go back, always try to go back. It's basically similar to the issue that we have with splash screen. If you remember the splash screen, so you don't allow for the application to go back to the splash screen because it doesn't make sense. Okay, it doesn't make sense for the application to go back there. So we don't push, but we push and replace. But in this case, you can push and replace. But if you push and replace, that can give a dire consequences in terms of your back ability. Okay, so but this is one of them of the method that you can use. You can, but yeah, I'm afraid of the because we depend so much on our parent class. And if we destroy that class, our consistency in terms of the UI might get affected. Okay, but maybe you can try, you can use the push and replace that we have. But you still need to handle back button. Okay, because whenever user press on the back button here, so in this case, we just remove the ability for user to go back. You cannot see. You can see there is no way for user to go back here. Okay. You can use also the method that I use here for the splash screen, which is by using the push replacement. But when we talk about push replacement, it basically remove the previous tag, but I haven't yet tested. Did it remove main also or not? Because your main contain your themes, okay, the application themes. But maybe not. Okay, I haven't yet properly test that, so that whenever we go back, I always remove that, or you can use exit. Okay, so it means that if user go back from this root menu here, go back means that user want to exit. Okay, they want to quit. So you can ask user, are you sure you want to quit? You can have a dialog window there and then provide user with options. Are you sure you want to quit, or are you sure you want to exit? Okay, from any point from the menu here. Okay, exit. Okay, so because before this you don't have any other menu. Okay, you don't have any other interface apart from the splash screen here. But yeah, this is also just a navigation option, and it goes back to your application design. Do you want to allow that to happen or not? Okay, so usually that what I did for application. And another things that I add is just for fun. Okay, I just want to play around with the navigation, so you can see if I navigate from one to the other. So if I select, let's say, seller, you can see this animation. They call it twin animation. Okay, animation for the page to move from the right, or you can set also to move from the left. Okay, usually you don't have that. And the way that I implement it through this class called the enter exit route. So the class basically handle simple animation for the screen from the exit page and the enter page. It will create this page builder animation, but this is just for fun. It is not required. It is not required. Just me playing with the animation. Okay. So instead of, for example, the usual navigator route here, where we push to the context, and then go to the where we want to go. But here, because the way that I just created the way that the home works, that is basically stay there. So from the main screen, we'll go back to the to main screen. But for the second screen, from the main screen to the seller screen, and for the third screen, from the main screen to the profile screen. Right, so that's why you have this nice little animation that the screen is coming from the right. So that can be achieved through this class and the transition offset that's set for the page animation. This is just a fun page animation. Okay, so you can create different type of animation, and that animation also sometimes provide what we call as a good feeling to the application. Okay, so you can feel that the responsiveness of the application, it basically look nice, it look better because your screen page transitioning from one to the other, they look clean. Okay, that is just the purpose here. So playing around with the application sometimes can provide better experience for user. Okay, so we always strive for a developer, we always strive for better experience for our user, so that they can feel that the application basically talk to them, okay, basically click with them, because you can see that for application, like for example, recently, just yesterday, Bank Islam, the banking, one of the Malaysian banking, they updated the application from the previous application. So once I updated the application, and suddenly the UI looked very weird. I'm not used to the UI, and the responsiveness of the UI is quite bad. Okay, so since I'm also a developer, so I can see the problem with the UI. They are not very friendly towards user. They require a lot of steps to be able to achieve the same task. So that can be very bad. Okay, so yeah, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. So they provided, usually when you provide new update, you introduce better feature, better UI navigation, but it does seems that they revamp the old UI, and it seems like it is a new UI. Okay, they are not just changing or updating, it's a major update to the application. And I cannot even use the previous application. Okay, so they force update the application, and it doesn't seem click well with the user. Okay, there's a lot of error here and there, unable to capture the error. So that can be very, very bad. All right. So yeah, that basically the update that I introduced to the application, just a simple update and fun update also. This is just if you're working with animation, 2D animation, so you can see there's a lot of things that you can do. You can play around with with the what we call is animation or twin animation, so allow you to move elements or items on your page, on your screen, between each other. Okay, so it can be fun to play with. Okay, so by passing a simple parameter here, you can see the same navigator.pass push, and then just pass the context and use the class and pass the two parameter required for the class to work. Okay, very, very simple class. Just passing widgets, just passing both class, and then you should be able to use it. All right, so that basically little update that work from the previous class. All right, so next we're going to look into topic 6. Okay, so here what we're going to do is we're going to start with the client server operation, which will require us to enable our web hosting, but our XAMPP application stack. Okay, so topic 6 is about registration, user registration, and the user's registration will allow for user to register with the application. and we'll be able to add. So here we want to have like seller screen, allow user to add item, to register with the application, and then post item. Okay, so since this is a community-based application, so for a community-based application to work, you need content. Okay, you need content, you need items in your database, you need content from your database to be able to list. But we don't have that yet. All right. So now I'm going to work with seller, and the registration page here will require for user. But here, since we don't have access, so you can see here, we don't have any access to the user registration. Okay, so what we can do now, here I updated my profile design, but I'm not yet doing this, not yet. And because here I provide a link just to go to the login screen. Okay, so for a temporary solution, what I'm going to do is just from the seller screen here, this screen here, what we're going to have is just maybe a button here, or a menu here that allow user to register and bring us to the registration page. All right, so that is the simplest. You can add somewhere here in the profile, and then definitely you can create a complete menu here and whatnot. But for now, because I want to speed things up a little bit, so I'm going to create menu up here and allow user to register. So that basically available in the seller screen. So we're going to create a menu in our scaffold app bar. So our app bar here, we can update with action. Okay, so the action parameter here will allow us to add item to the seller screen. So I'm going to do that with the seller screen and add maybe a simple icon. So I can use icon button because it basically allows us to accept. So for now, just null, and then we can just use icon. Let's say new label, new. Oh, there's not much with the icon new. What is new label? Sorry. You need to wrap that in a widget. There you go. And this is all should be constant. So we have icon button. Save that. There's no error, right? Okay, now you can see that there's a button there. Okay, so we add button. So the button icon here, this is new label. Maybe I can change that to a different icon. Is there any icon for register app registration? Let's try that. Icon app registration. Okay, save. Okay, that is icon for app registration. Okay, so that basically allow us to have this button, and then when user click on the button here, we can bring out a registration form. Okay, so our now on price method from the icon button here contain nothing, and we might need to have something here. So our function here, let's say registration form. Right? So create a method. Okay, you can create down here. So the registration form, this one is a constant, remove that. And this one is a constant. Okay. Right, so now we have our registration form and we have the button here now enabled. So inside here, we want to navigate. right? We want to navigate to our registration form. So as we, where's my pen here? So let's say this is our seller screen here. So the registration form will be somewhere down here to register. So we're going to create new form, and that form going to be used for registration. So since registration form only appear once, so we can just create the registration form inside view. So this one you can just call registration dot or registration screen dot. Okay. So the registration screen, so this is just a standard stateful widget. So just put a stateful widget and the name registration screen class, and then just import the material widget. So inside here, we're going to have scaffold. And inside scaffold, that depends on how you want to design your UI. Either you want to have a full screen design, or you just want to have like a standard form design. So let's just run with the standard form design, which basically contain an app bar. So the app bar will contain app bar widgets with title, title widget called text, and let's say registration. Okay, so registration form, whatever, right? And then body section will contain, so far we just set with center, and it contain only that information for now, right? So just a very simple page. Just a very simple page, and we can just call this registration page whenever user click on this. So for the seller screen now, we can just navigate to the screen. So the navigation basically handle, I just want to take the navigation code. Either you want to use enter exit route, or you just use the standard navigation. So let me just use a standard navigation. So the standard navigation here will push to the required screen, which is the registration screen. Right, so that registration screen down there. So we import that already. If you want to make it better, put it constant there. All right, now when user click on this button, you should have registration form. You can always go back. When user click on this, you have registration form. So that basically pretty simple to have a new form, and then we can create the registration form here. Okay, so you can see it's very simple process to do. And here you can start designing your form. So you can refer to my book here. So this one, because I created the profile screen first, but I'm going to straightforward to the registration dialog here. But for the registration dialog, okay, this is another method of, but here, because we don't have to worry much yet, because this is just a temporary solution. Okay, just a temporary solution for us to access the registration screen. And later on, we're going to use our profile screen here. The profile screen here that will contain link for the registration. But for now, we leave it as it is. And then we work in the seller screen. And here basically contain a menu in the app bar and allow for user to enter registration form. All right, so inside our registration form, so now you can close the other. We don't need that, we don't need that. We just need our registration form. So inside the registration form, now you can create your form, right? So the way that I created the form, this one just for, are you sure you want to register new account? That one for what we call as confirmation. Okay, this is confirmation dialog or alert dialog. So you can implement alert dialog by using this ShowDialog function, ShowDialog method here. So this ShowDialog functions allow you to ask user, register new account. Are you sure? Yes, no. Okay, but yeah, since this is just a temporary solution, so we just avoid this first. But later on, we're going to come back to this to implement alert dialog for certain operation. Okay, so you can use this alert dialog for any other operation later on that will require the confirmation from user. So for example, you want to insert data or you want to update data, you want to delete data, always ask for a confirmation first. Don't straight away delete the data without the confirmation. Okay, so that is a very important features to have in your application. Don't just straight away delete. Make sure you ask the user for the confirmation first. All right, so I'm not going to go there just yet, but we're going to go straight away to the page registration screen here. So this is the registration screen that I built. But for this example, I've created this by using Stack. Okay, just to make it look better, because the design element here, you can see the way that I design here by having this output, this screen output. Okay, but I'm going to start with a simple form, something like this. Okay, so this look like a fancy registration form. Okay, so you have like a full screen, and then a form inside with that within the card basically contain your name, email, password. Okay, and then there's a agree terms down there and a button, and also another link. If already register, log in here, and you can back to home. There's a link down there, back to home. So this is just to make it look nice. But all in all, so I'm going to implement just a simple one. I'm going to take just the form only, the form here. Okay, so the form basically contain email, name, password. Okay, double password to check if user enter correct password. All right, so the way that I'm going to design, but first you need to implement, or you need to make sure that the information that you request from user, they are not what we call it, invasion of privacy. Okay, data type that invade the user privacy, such as phone number, that can be difficult nowadays. Okay, before this, people can easily just give their phone number, but nowadays seems there are so many scam happen around us, and then that phone number can be very tricky to handle in one way. But that depend also with your application. If your application require phone number for, let's say, verification, and also for OTP through phone, for user to be able to contact you, so that should comes from your user or from your application requirement. Okay, so the application requirement requires that, and your user data diagram define that is a must. Then you have to have that in your new user registration. But for the new user registration account, you need to make sure that the data that you requested, even though you might need more data later on, but you with this information, your application should work already. Okay, your application should be able to work already with this information. So I'm going to create new form right in the middle of the screen. So I'm going to follow my, okay, here I started to use media query, which is I do talk about a lot for what we call as a responsive page design. Okay, and which is very, very important for any modern application to be able to follow the screen size, automatically adjust to the screen size, so that your application looks and feel call it consistent across different devices. Okay, so this is for the image, and we have to also think about, do we need user image or user profile or not, or do we need what type of information? But let's say just here I'm going to use a very simple registration screen. So for registration screen, you can use either if you don't want to use form, okay, you can use, we just use Flutter form with validation. Because Flutter form, the one that I use here, we don't have, I did not use form widget. Okay, so actually there's a special widget called form, which allow you to create a fully functional form. Okay, so I'm going to create inside here a widget called form, and let me just try to put everything into perspective. Do I need a columns? Certainly, let me try. And also we need to avoid one issue with a form, which is the inability for us to scroll up and down. But yeah, we can just later on we can just wrap that widget. So let's start with just a simple form. So I'm going to create a form. Oh, sorry, child, and then create a form widget. Just a form widget is within the child here. So the form widget will require a child, and inside the child we can create columns, and then the column will implement its children. Okay, so inside the children, column children, now you can start building your form. So the form will contain all the required information for user to work with. So let me just take this text field. So the text field that we have here, you can see there's quite a long field here. So instead of using a text field, I'm going to introduce what we call as a text form field. So text form field is a text field but belong to the form because here later on you can implement validation. Okay, text form field widget, that is one. So we might need a number, a 2 and a 3 text form field, and another one for password. Okay, so we have email for user. So our main form of communication within the application, basically you can decide either you want to use a phone number or you want to use email. Okay, so for this application, we might need to use all those information. We might need to use phone number, email. Okay, even though those data can be quite or the email, sorry, the phone number is quite intrusive data. But let me just use that also as part of the registration. So we have email, phone, name, and these two for password. Okay, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So save that and let's see the effect. The effect, there you go. All right, so now you have 5 input. 1, keypad, 2, that's the keypad also, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it does seems the keypad, they haven't yet what we call as pixel overflow issue. But definitely we're going to need button. For button, here I use my button down there. So let's say just create a simple button. So here I use material button. So let me just put material button, just simple material button. And the material button will require on press, which is null, and then child with text, submit. Right. All right, so let's just stick with that for now. Okay, so that is the button. So do we have any problem with that? Okay, so we have submit button at the bottom there. So this submit button still null because we haven't yet defined any methods for the button to work with. And yeah, we have this simple form, and you can arrange this now. You can create, let's say you want to wrap your form with a card. Okay, so wrap, we don't have card here, so you can just wrap with a widget called card so that you have a card design. Okay, so there's a card there, there. And then if you want your form, if there's any margin, let's work with margin, edge inset all. So let's say 8 pixel. Is it on the inside or on the outside? I think margin is on the outside. Yeah, margin is on the outside. Do we have a padding? Unfortunately, we don't have padding for cut. Okay, but form, is there any? No, we don't have. We don't have that also because we want to pad our. We don't have that, right? We don't have. We can create or we can customize the shape of, but we don't have that. So what did I use? Here, my text form field, a number of them already. The column, I put a size box inside, and the cut, yeah, the cut contain elevation. So maybe we can just put elevation there just to make it look better. Let's say by 8 elevation, 8 pixel elevation. And on the inside, I put in a container. All right, so that's the reason that I use container inside, because to achieve that, so instead of the card itself, the card can be implemented that, but the form itself, I might need to wrap this with either size box. I think I can use size box. There's a size box inside. Just wrap with widget and use size box. But let's see. Oh, size box did not contain that. So we might need to use a container. And then the container basically implement the padding. Okay. Padding. So because we need the edge inset all, let's say padding by 16 on the inside. So let's see if we can have that. All right, so now you have padding on the inside, but the padding on the inside, it does seems okay, but the form here will consume everything, but we work with that later. So now you have your text suite. Now you can start to see this error now, right? So if you start to see that error, means that you need to wrap, you need to do some wrapping. Okay, you need to do some wrap with either the whole page that or the form itself. Can I just wrap or columns, maybe the whole card wrap with a single child scroll view? Nope, we don't have that. Just type in single child scroll view. All right, so let's see just for now, okay, just to solve the issue. Right, so now we have that. Okay, so we solve the issue and allow for the page to be scrollable. Right, down to that. Okay, so any questions so far for this? Right, so now we have our basic design for form. So you might want to update in terms of what we call as aesthetic view of the UI. So usually I use for TextFormField. This is the design that I use. So for example, I'm going to start with keyboard. Maybe I can take the input decoration. Let's start with the decoration. Okay, start with the decoration here, this portion there. So the first part here is for take the whole block there correctly. So this one is actually decoration is under on field. This is for the submitted form control. Keyboard type. Okay, keyboard type is, this is just to make sure that we use the right keyboard type, nothing more. And then for decoration, for decoration. So this is for decoration. So open, close, and icon. Let me just take this. This is just for decoration. So might as well just that. So inside each and every one of these, put it there. All right, so now you can see the first text form field and the difference between each other. All right, so let's see. Now you can see there. Okay, so now this is this decoration here. So the decoration widget, decoration class that I use here is called input decoration, and which allow us to have this label, label style, which is just a text style, icon, if you want to use icon there. So this is for name. And focus border outline. So if you want to create a focus border outline, so let's say just one, not that too harsh in terms of the color there. So that basically allow you to do that. Okay, so name, users select on that. So user know that they are now doing that. Okay, so that is one. So now you can just apply this for the rest of the layout. Okay, so you have the first UI already. So instead of this one, so I'm going to delete all of them and work one by one. Sorry. Want to arrange that. So the second input for email. So I'm going to work with keyboard type email. Is that the email keyboard type? Should be there. Oh yeah, email address. And then input decoration, I'm going to put email. And then this one also email for icon, input border 1, right? Save that. So the second one for email. Okay, so you can see there. Selected, this is now email. This is the first one, name. Okay, and then the third one for phone number. So I'm going to put phone number there. So this one for phone. Yeah, we do have text input for phone, and this is the phone. And then the icon is there any phone icon? Yeah, we do have phone icon, phone Android and whatnot. So you do have that. And then border still the same. So that is the third input that we require. Okay, so name, email, phone. There you go. So you can see even the keyboard down here also changed to phone. This one changed to email type keyboard, and this one up here for text. Okay, for putting your names. All right, so that is for the third one. And the fourth one for password. All right, so for password, we might need to have a little bit, we need to change that options. Okay, we need to have that options. Okay, so the third text form field, this one is name. So this one for password. And then the keyboard type, I don't think a password keyboard type. Visible password. Visible password. Let's see, let's work with that. Input border time, text style, password, icon. So we need to have, is there a password icon? There you go. We have password icon there. All right. Save that. Let's see the output. Okay, so you have that. So let's see. Okay, this is keyboard, but you need to hide them. Okay, so you need to hide your password. So you can use the obscure, there's a password field, this one. Okay, this one password field. So the text should be obscure text true. Okay, so set the text, I believe, is it, this one is inner or outer? Nope, this one is inner. Inner where? Obscure tag. Obscure tag is a parent, not inside here. Should be here, comma. All right. So that is for password. Okay, so now you can see now this is now obscure text. So one more. Password, the second one, this one, re-enter password. Same. So we have another one. Okay, so re-enter password. And yeah, so this is basically just a very simple form, and that basically allow us to get all the information here and then pass to the database. Okay, pass to the database to perform the registration. All right, any question? Oh, let me turn on that. All right, so now we have the following form. So we have modified, we have changed all the basic design for the form. So now the text form field designed based on each of these decoration down here, right? So you can see for password, for phone number, for email, for name. So each of these basically contain a decoration from input decoration widgets or class. So that allow you to have a different kind of design, and that basically should comes from your UI UX developer or designer. Okay, so we have this already. Now we need to process the data so that user will be able to register with all the information. All right, so down here, this is where we perform the form processing. So you need form key. So the form key basically used to indicate the form state later on. So you can put it into your class. So let me just properly handle this at constant. So you should put your form key in the class and then assign your form key with, where's my form key? Form is up here. So let me just go back to my form where I started, because each form will require a key. That one is a container. So form, where's my form? This is just for focus node. TextFormField will have upper half. Where's my form key? Let me just check on that quickly. You can just define your key for your form. Okay, we have a form here, and then we have a key, and then we assign this to the form key. That's it. All right, just for that. All right, so once we have that, and now you can see there's a gesture detector that I haven't yet used. We're going to deal with that later. For the gesture detector, it's very, very useful widgets or class to use. But here we need to handle form first. So now for each form, we'll require what we call as a validator. Okay, so a validator means that when user enter or did not enter data here, so we unable to process the data yet, so we can have a form, we call it form validator. So for example, the form field for names, we want to make sure at least it is not empty. Okay, so the validator option only available in TextFormField. Okay, only available in there. You can see the TextFormField there. So there's a validator. So the validator basically will let you know that either user do this or not. So this can be a little bit overwhelmed for your TextFormField, but it is basically very, very useful parameter to have. Let's say like the first one we have here for name. Okay, so name here through the validator parameter allow you to check for the value first. If the value is not empty, if the value is less than 3, which means that that is the indicator for the name. So you just let the user know name must be longer than 3. So that is you must fill in this and whatever the validator that you have there. So you have that for one. So for email, you can use a very simple validator here to check if your email is formatted to email. So we can use that also for email. You can put it somewhere under keyboard there. That's just to check for email contain @ and contain dot. For the rest, for name, for email, a validator for password. Okay, so if you have any password requirements, so you can implement a password validator. So for password validator down here, you can also implement password, but that can be a little bit overwhelmed. Now you start to see your widget look very, very complex already, but it is not actually. If you properly understand widgets class and how they pass parameter to their constructor, this is just another constructor. So I'm not going to put it there. I should put it there. This one for email. One for password. Password. So yeah, I just copy paste here, this one. Validator for password. Okay. So for password, let me just put it quickly under keyboard type, put it there. But it will require a function, a validate password function, which is, hold on, where did I put it there? Oh, I'll remove everything. String password valid. Oh yeah, sorry. I remove the validate password should be inside. Validate password should be inside. Sometimes this one just pass straight away, move to this. So string validator should be somewhere outside, not here. Just take that quickly. Should be outside, not inside, right? So sorry for that. String validator, let me just put it as a function somewhere here, because that's just a function, okay? So, and then just call the validator that call for that function. Oh, I put it together, so that can be a little bit confused for you if you didn't properly look into this. Okay, so I hope you're not sleepy. So because there's a lot of coding here, there's a lot of but if you're truly interested in programming, this is a goal for you. Okay, if you are not, that can be very, very bad for you. I'm not here as an entertainer, but to share whatever that I have. All right. So you have validator for password just to test for your password. We have one password, two password just to make sure that our password validated properly. But for the validate password here, they use what we call as a reject or registration reject expression. Okay, reject. So reject, they check for pattern. So this is the pattern for reject. So you need to understand reject. This is our reject. So the reject contain parameter that check, for example, should contain at least one uppercase, should contain at least one lowercase, one digit, and one special character. So if you want to use them all. So it basically contain everything. Okay, but if you don't want to, you can just remove one of the option. Let's say you don't want to use anything with this. Should contain. Or this one at least minimum 6 character. Sorry, 6 password, 6 length password. So this is what reject means. Okay, reject. Make sure that it follow the reject and make sure it contain all the required parameter, required value. This one just to check if both of the password are equal. So you can use also validator val to check for the password if they are not the same. You can also implement inside here, but you need to look for that. Obscure tag, this is also another form that you can use to view your password. So the obscure tags can be, you can add what we call as a suffix icon to your password. This is also another, not important, but subtle UI element that allow you to, let's say, let me just add that to suffix icon somewhere. We can just put it into our down there, suffix icon. No. Suffix icon is inside where? Suffix icon should be, then suffix. I think inside decoration. Okay, inside decoration, is there any suffix icon here? Inside decoration is the blue one. Yeah, suffix icon is here. Okay, paste that. Don't worry about the error yet. Okay, this one is icon button. And we don't have this variable just yet. So for the variable, password visible, password invisible. So we can just add that to our check up here. So we might need to have another one equal false by default. And down here, the icon should be already closed, but I'm not quite sure why it didn't close that. We have icon button. This is yellow one. It's yellow icon button, input decoration. Why I didn't properly close that. So we have our suffix icon. Should be all these. And icon here. Let me just check on that quickly. Okay, should be under decoration. Should be under decoration. Suffix icon. So for the suffix icon, we need icon button. And for the icon button to work, we need icon. So the icon that we're going to use here is the options. Okay, so this is for the icon option. That is one. But I think because of missing on press, once you have that, check one more time. You're not supposed to get error already here at required argument on press. And another one icon, but it doesn't seem to rest, or because I put it as constant. Yeah, I put it as constant. So that's the reason why we have that error. So usually sometimes you miss that, so that can cause error within your application. So might as well, I'm going to remove this suffix icon and work this one more time. All right, so that is just a suffix icon. Quick fix at constant. This one also the same at constant everywhere. Save and save. So you should be able to have this. There you go. All right, so you can just take that and then put it, this is because this is the same one. So we're going to take our suffix and then click all the icon button and apply that to the same input border here, because it belongs to the outline input border, I believe, that one. Oops, no, it's not there. Border style, this one is inside icon outline input border. Oh no, outside. This part of input decoration. So part of input decoration should be here. So that's why it is important to see the color there. That's suffix. Okay, yeah, it's true. But you need to remove constant and then quick fix everywhere. Save. Okay, now you see there's a So if you put password, let's say ABC123, and if you click on this, oh, I didn't put the logic to be able to see visible. So that logic should be applied to this one, obscure text, change to password visible. So your text form field, obscure tag, look for the obscure tag. Where's the obscure tag? That's one for phone, this one. So change that to this. Oh, change that to, that is not copying this properly. So instead of true, remove that, and the other one also the same, because it's going to change this. Okay, so being able to change that. Okay, now you can see, now you don't. Now you can see, now you don't. Okay, the same with this, ABC 1, 2, 3. You see, you don't. You see, you don't. Right, simple as that. But yeah, definitely it's going to end up with quite long text field widgets entry. Okay, but for the sake of having good UI, that's basically the length that you have to go, and the understanding of how or what are the elements, parameter that you need to pass to be able to achieve that. Okay, so as I mentioned before, Flutter is a UI toolkit. 90% is a UI toolkit. The rest is just a simple logic that you can build. So you can build as complex as possible, or any design that you wish. But you need to be able to play with the parameter that is not there. You need to wrap them, you need to manage them properly, and that basically allow you to achieve a much. And this can be considered as just a basic design, very basic design. Okay, you have your form. This can be considered as form, and then you have all your input element, your input widgets that you need, and the password. And when you have the register button here, you would like to register or use the data to register. Before we stop, to get all the value. Okay, how do you get all the value? So now you can see here, this is how it works, but we haven't yet implement the button yet. So the button that we use, the register button here, will require processing, definitely. So we're going to process that. We're going to take the value and then process the data. Okay, we have that done. This is the EULA part. So I've talked about EULA before. EULA allow you to load data. So let me just quickly implement that and see how we can have our form ready. So you can see the EULA here. So the EULA generator. So you can go to the EULA generator. Already, right? So the EULA generator allow you to generate EULA, right? So basically quite simple. Let's say the name is my Pasa. The company name is Slumbersoft. Let's say Slumbersoft. Okay, country is Malaysia, and state is Kedah, and my email is email. Right. So now generate my EULA. So now you have your EULA. Okay, it's very easy now. Okay, so you can have your EULA and copy the EULA, but definitely you need to properly read your EULA and then get that and put it into. The way that I do it here is I'm going to put it into I put it into a text. Okay, I put it into a text. The EULA is under folder asset. Put it inside asset here. So inside folder asset, I'm going to create a file called eula.text. Okay, so inside the EULA.txt, I'm going to paste all my EULA. So this is my EULA, save that. And then for the EULA to work, basically I'm going to create new variable for EULA. So EULA, to load the EULA into EULA string. This one is missing, should be one more there. Okay, so define your EULA because you want to load your EULA. So string EULA. EULA stands for End User License Agreement, for those who are not familiar with EULA. I call it EULA, I'm not quite sure if, I think it's EULA, the name is EULA. So string EULA, and then you want to load EULA into your text. So you can have a function called load EULA. So usually I put a function, all the method function down here. Okay, so this one will require root bundle. So root bundle, you need to import services, okay, which is you want to load from folder assets. We have asset here and then directly to EULA text. Okay, and to be able to load EULA, you need to put load EULA into, this is EULA, okay? You need to put EULA into, should be under, oh, I didn't put it here. It's supposed to be here because you need to load EULA. Fill the form, okay, generate your EULA, and then once you have that, you have load EULA as asynchronous. This is where you want to display your EULA through ShowDialog. Continue by creating another method, load dialog window as follows. So this is just to load dialog window. Call the method gesture detector. So flexible, call the gesture detector and show EULA. But here I did not talk about where to load EULA. So the load EULA should be in the init state, right? So here we don't have the init state. Add override void init. Oh, sorry, void. They're already there. Okay, so void init state and then super dot init state. Close that. Okay, so and then you just call load EULA, so don't have to worry about load EULA. There you go down there. All right, so just load EULA from there. But since we haven't, I'm not quite sure if we might need to go back here because we haven't yet load EULA for now. So you need to initiate the init state first. When you click on this, if there's any error, means that the asset key cannot be loaded. I need to check my pub spec YAML if I have enabled that or no. Yeah, I haven't yet enabled my asset, that's why. So I need to enable my asset first. This one for images. Sorry, asset / images. Enable asset, but that will require for us to reload our application, okay, because of that. I think I didn't put it inside there properly. Okay, stop first. The application will require for me to stop Flutter asset because we haven't yet import the asset into the project. So we have folder here, asset images, or I just asset should be there. So save on that. Exit code 0 and then try to rerun that one more time. I haven't yet put that there. You should be able to see that once you implement it, but I didn't call that. Call the method from gesture detector, nope, that one. But I haven't called this load EULA. Okay, create new variable. The class is used string EULA because you want to populate this with EULA. Yeah, I don't think that I put it there. Yeah. I think because of that. I forgot to do that. Okay, let it compile and then see the new result. But once you have that, you need to implement a gesture detector. Okay, here we have this gesture detector, but our gesture detector haven't yet called anything. Okay, so let it run first and let's see how the result. All right, so this is just an implementation of ShowDialog. Oh, that's the reason why I didn't call that. That's actually I called from EULA from inside here. But never mind, we already have the data and we can use that already. So let me just go back. If we are able to load and implement, call the show EULA from our gesture detector here. So the on tab here, when we implement that, call show EULA. Okay, so save that again, reload the page, and then click on that. And agree with this with terms. So, oh yeah, I forgot the color. The color is white. Where's my color there? Text style, text style, and then I'm going to put it because of the color or the size. I think because of the size. Because of the size, yeah, the size itself. I remove the size, the height of the size box. The height of the size box is here. So let me just put like height set to, let's say, 200 pixel height. Just that, just to get the height first now. So close on that, reload and show. This one is 200 only, but the text color is not there. We just set the color, the selection color. Where's my color there? Child, rich text, color, selection color. Where's my color? There's not color there. The text is already, should be inside text style, sorry. Color. Colors dot black. Right, so one more time. This is 200, maybe can we increase this to 300. Okay, so agree with terms. There you go. Right, so now you can see EULA. So user can check their EULA and then read the EULA properly first. And then if they agree, so you say that they agree with the EULA and then proceed with the registration. Okay, but we haven't done that yet today. We don't have enough time to be able to do that. So, but that just to show you how to build a registration form. It does seem quite complex in a way, but once you manage to understand all the widgets, all the elements required to build a form, it should become naturally for you. And once you have the file already, so the next application you want to build, you can just refer to that that page. So that's why I can build any applications quite fast already because I have the code base. So any application can be built, but definitely for you, you are as a starter, you're not familiar with this, so you might need to start first. Okay, it might takes time for you to be able to start. All right, I think that's all for today.